IGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So we gotta talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, and man, this was fucking good. There are some things we gonna have to unpack, especially after, what happened at the Royal Rumble. We was looking to see, okay, we get some answers of what was going on and all that. So definitely want to talk about. I don't want to waste no time, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So we start off the show with Braun Breaker immediately, in the ring right now, just tearing shit up. He's on crash out mode after being attacked by the hoodie up guy, and then going into the ring, and of course being eliminated by Overfemi that fast. So he was looking for answers of who was behind, that hooded mask and all that shit. So he's tearing the whole announce desk up and all, and instantly goes in to get a mic, gets in the ring, and was saying to Anna Pierce, I'm not wasting no time. Bring your ass out here, because we're gonna discuss what happened at the Royal Rumble and all. So he's already fired up. You had the Vision coming out there alongside Paul Heyman. They trying to calm him down. Paul Heyman, he pretty much gets on a mic and was saying that, this is what happens when you had him at number 2 and all that. And, he was telling Adam Pearce that you fuck around and find out. Like, look what happened right now because of all of this nonsense. So Braun Breaker ain't having it. Took the mic from Paul Heyman and was saying again to Adam Pearce, you bring your ass out here at the count of 3. So he's counting down. You see Adam Pearce, he's coming out, and he has the JAG security guards in the middle of the ramp, and pretty much was explaining to him that the only reason why, you are not, getting suspended and all that is because of all the nonsense he did. He said, I'm gonna let that slide. And he was saying that your piss poor performance at the Royal Rumble, it led to all of this nonsense here. So he was already fired up to begin with to go at Adam Pearce. And, they trying to hold him back and all. And as it's happening, you hit LA Night music out of nowhere and all. But before I get into that, because I skipped one part right there, they trying to find out, do you know who was behind that hoodie mask, the hoodie guy with the mask? And Adam Pearce said, I didn't know who that was and all that. So they think he joking around and shit. So for a fact, it fired him up. Adam Pearce said it could have been Austin Theory because he was the last one, when it came down to it, wearing it and all. And he turned around as a sense of like, was it really you? And all. And they had to tell him like, no, that couldn't have been Theory. Hell no, because he competed that night. So he was already fired up, ready to get at Adam Pearce, and immediately LA Night music hits. So now he's looking for him, thinking they got to pay for the rent, but he actually comes from behind, attacks the Vision with the chair and all that, and takes off. So you really know that the LA Knight and his personal vendetta against the Vision is far from over, and he's looking to make their life a living hell. So he was already pissed off with that. You cut backstage and you see Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman telling him, like, make a match with Braun Breaker and LA Knight. And Pearce telling him that's not going to happen. And it ain't happening because he's leaving the arena. Like, that's without a doubt. And telling Paul Heyman that you make sure that you escort him up out of there and not to come back. So at that moment there, we thinking, all right, he's still going to come mess around and be involved, with Monday Night Raw and all that stuff. But you see Paul Heyman, he's going there and he's trying to convince Braun Breaker to leave and all of that stuff, especially now that we had a match with Bronson Reed taking on Penta. We're thinking that, all right, Braun Breaker's going to show up for that match to wreak havoc and crash out and all that. But he didn't show up. So I feel like this whole situation between Braun Breaker and Adam Pearce is far from over. It is far from over, and I think it's going to build up there. And I mentioned this when I was live for Monday Night Raw. Shout out to people who was in the ride for me and all of that. I said I won't be surprised if they make a match at WrestleMania and it's Braun Breaker versus Adam Pearce. I promise you, if that is the case, you know it's going to make Braun Breaker's life a whole lot better. He can get his hands on him to pack his ass up, because you know that's his mission at this point. So that was something I had brought up, because seeing how this is going down, there's going to be some heated tension for these next couple of weeks or so. I won't be surprised if that happens. I really won't. So that was an interesting way to kick off the show. I said, okay, this is going to get a lot better, throughout it, especially with Roman Reigns being there, towards the main event. So I was excited for how it kicked off. Then we had you had the match with Bronson Reed versus Penta, and the match was interesting. We think, okay, Penta gonna get packed up because of the numbers game playing the focal point. Plus, we had no Rey Mysterio or Dragon Lee, who got packed up by Gunther, because when Gunther came out, he came out to AJ Styles music, and he's doing the poses and all that, then transitions to his music just being a real prick. So he comes out there, and now self-proclaimed himself the career killer, talking about how he, packing up both Goldberg and John Cena, and then not AJ Styles. So of course he's mocking the fans, all of those things, and Dragon Lee had enough. So he came out there and was just on full crash out mode on the Gunther, looking to pack him up. So when it looked like he was about to, go in to finish him off, Gunther ends up rocking him with the ring bell, and then proceeds to choke this man out. And at this point is when you had to throw the X up for Dragon Lee, because he was finished at that point. He was completely done. Then, you see all the rest of JG trying to get him off for Dragon Lee. That wasn't the case for a little bit, because once that was done and Dragon Lee is trying to, walk back to the ramp area, go to grab him by his mask, proceeds to choke this man out, and completely he just got sent to the upper room after that. Like that visual where he just looked like completely dead, after that sleeper hole. It was a crazy visual and all that. But I love this for Gunther, because it gets some nuclear heat, and he continued to be dominant as I expected. So that was very, very, very interesting, and I enjoyed that segment there too. And I wanted to see what's to come for Gunther move forward. Now we're going into WrestleMania season, so we'll see how the whole thing goes down. But to go back to the match between Bronson Reed and Penta, so we thought the numbers game would play a point, and the ref ended up getting knocked out of the match as I expected. So of course that's when Bronson Reed hits the jagged edge onto to Penta. Gauze hits a tsunami, so he covers him for the 1, the 2, the 3, but the ref is still knocked out at the moment, and he realized it. So at that point he went to go grab a chair to pretty much pack up Penta. So this is when LA Knight comes out of nowhere, hits the BFT, onto him, to the steel chair and stuff like that. And he ended up getting up out of there with Austin Theory and Logan Paul giving chase to him. So now as it's happening, the ref is counting, down, to 10, and Bronson Reed, they make it back in the ring, and he ended up losing by count out. So at this point, Paul Heyman is just stressed out only because of, everything that happened with Braun Breaker earlier. Seth found out who attacked him and stuff like that. Then, not getting the match he's supposed to get against LA Knight, and having to escort Braun Breaker out the arena, to Bronson Reed losing a Penta, courtesy of LA Knight and all that stuff. So he had a miserable time. It was not the night for him. So he was up there, and definitely want to see what's going to be the mission with that going forward, for these upcoming weeks and all. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And for LA Knight, I love what he's doing right now, because I want him to continue making the Vision life a living hell. After everything that turns out, after what they did to him 2 months ago, he should consistently go out there, no matter who it is, interrupt them and all that, just to make a statement. And that's going to get noticed very, very soon and all that. And we'll probably get a match, down the line, what's to come, either from Bronson Reed or any band like that. So we'll see how the whole thing turns out. Then I want to talk about with Liv Morgan and all that. So her winning the Royal Rumble winner, she still had to make a decision on who she's gonna face, at WrestleMania. And with Donna coming back too and all that stuff, and she brings out Raquel Rodriguez. So she coming out there, they celebrating, hoping, that she wins. And one thing I was looking forward to, for Raquel to bring up, because after that whole match, and you saw Liv throw Raquel over the ropes and all that, I was upset because after having some of the heated tension there, I'm like, okay, this is going to get brought up by Raw. But you seen Liv Morgan, she had made a post and all of that, and Dom was on FaceTime, they congratulating and stuff like that, but you saw Raquel behind her. And I'm like, yo, wait a minute. And everybody in the comments said the same thing that I was saying too. Like, why would you go out there and be all smiles and all of that stuff, knowing for a fact that she single-handedly eliminated you? So, in that situation right there, why would you be all goody-goody two-shoes at that moment there? So, that was going to sit well with a lot of people when you seeing that right there. Like, that should have been under the radar. So, we looking for them to have their interaction and all that in the ring for Raquel to bring that up. And I'm glad she did when she was saying, like, I'm still not satisfied with you throwing me over the top rope and all of that stuff. Like, what was the reason for that? And Liv Morgan tried to plead her case, like, I wanted to make it a win-win situation. A situation that I win the Rumble, and in this case, you beat Stephanie Vaquer, you get the Women's World Championship, and now we'll have a WrestleMania match. And that's like a win for the Judgment Day. So that's what she tried to say, all of that stuff. And she told her, like, respectfully, stay in the back. Like, don't come, and interfere in my matchup against Stephanie Vaquer. So she's all right, no problem. Goes back there. 70 comes out, and they about to have their street fight. Now, I don't know why they changed Stephanie Vaquer's music for some reason. Like, I was never a fan of that. Like, her original one was fine. I was okay with that. So it made no sense for them to change it at all and have people confused, like, who's coming out. Because one thing we know, with the visual that the graphics on the Titantron for Stephanie Vaquer, for the fact her theme song that comes up first, who that is. So it had everybody confused, and I don't know why they changed it, because Def Rebel being Def Rebel, putting out shitty music, we already knew that. But nevertheless, they had their street fight match, which was very good. I definitely enjoyed that match from start to finish. And both women, they gave them a whole lot of time to work. And, was able to see offense from both of them. And Raquel looked good in that match, too. Same with Stephanie Vaquer. So I want to talk about the ending of it. So, of course, you saw Liv Morgan come in there, grabs the title and all of that stuff to pass to Raquel. And Raquel telling, like, yo, I told you not to be here and all. So, of course, Stephanie caught eye on that, end up knocking out Raquel a little bit and then taking out Liv Morgan. Then she puts her attention on Raquel to where she's gonna put her on the table to try to do the corkscrew driver, but in comes Roxanne Perez. So she come there trying to put away Stephanie Vaquer to help out Raquel, but she ends up taking multiple headbutts and falling onto the table that was set up outside of the ring. Then that was when Raquel was trying to take advantage of it, try to hit her with the Tahina bomb or something like that. I forgot the name of it. But Stephanie Vaquer was able to reverse it into a Hurricanrana, putting Raquel through the table. Then she goes up, hits the corkscrew driver, and covers up for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and she retains her title. Now, at this moment right here, Raquel gonna have some shit to say next week after everything that went down, and she specifically told Liv Morgan, do not interfere with this match. I got this. So we know we're gonna get some frictions between them next week, and I'm waiting to see what happens. And I had a theory about if she don't win the match against Stephanie Vaquer, if you want to build her up, she needs to win the Money in the Bank, because I do envision a circumstance that if Liv Morgan goes out to Stephanie Vacquet, which I think it is going to be confirmed, Liv's winning that without a doubt. So I just wanted to point that out and all that. But to move on, and we had a video package of Finn Balor, and he was talking about, you know, his title match against CM Punk, and was saying that, you know, with that match, you know, I had him beat, but, you know, he had got the best of me. Then brings up about being in the Rumble and Adam Pearce turning him down, and so to speak, and, you know, trying to be respectful about it. And he said, like, me trying to be respectful about it haven't got me anywhere. So it's time that I take matters in my own hands and all that and get it by any means. So that's why he did the attack on Punk that he did in that main event match with him and AJ Styles. So for him to make a statement. And that was going to play a focal point into later on, you know, what I'm about to get into now. So we cut to the main event, and Roman Reigns arrives. You already know, anytime this man steps foot in that ring, his aura at 1,000. So he comes in there, do the OTC chants and all that stuff, pyro going off, all of that. So he does the whole Philly acknowledge me, and brings up about asking the Philly crowd, you know, who should I choose to face at WrestleMania? He said, should it be Drew McIntyre or should it be CM Punk? And out the gate, CM Punk comes out. So he comes out and all of that stuff, goes in the ring, and he was saying like, yeah, you got a big choice to make. Like, oh, first of all, before he even did that, he went straight to the camera guy and started talking to Finn Balor and delivering a message like, listen, I ain't forget that what you did and all that, and best believe, like, I'm gonna get my get back at you. Like, this ain't over. So Roman had that look on his face like, what the fuck? And he proceeds to say, you come out here and try to interrupt me and all that stuff, to where CM Punk, you know, saying that I'm not here to interrupt you and all that. Like, last time I checked, you are a visitor here. Like, this is my show. I'm the champion. All of that stuff. And it was at this moment right here that we was about to get one of the best promos segments in quite some time. So CM Punk proceeds to say, you came here because you got a big, you know, choice to make, whether to choose Drew McIntyre or choose me. And he was saying that, you know what, I think you had your mind made up already and was looking to go at Drew McIntyre because he's the easier way out for you versus me, you know. And out of the gate, you already know Roman was already about to shut all that down, saying, you talking about Drew McIntyre being easy for me. The last time I checked, that he was the one that was packing you up and all that, and had you crying over a bracelet. So Punk, you know, was going to go that route of saying, you know, talking about the bracelet that he just, you know, that Drew destroyed. It was saying like, yeah, but after I was done with Drew, like, they had to put Stables, you know, on his dumb ass to put him back together for what I did to him. And, you know, he brought up about, you know, even though you might have beat him multiple times and all that I beat him in the Hell in the Cell, one of the dangerous matches ever, and all of that. And was saying that whenever you had beaten Drew, it was courtesy of your family getting involved, which was factual. So Roman gonna have, you know, he's gonna have a rebuttal with that, saying, you know, don't mention my family in this. He said, because like I checked with my family, we the ones who kept WWE relevant. He said, if it wasn't for my family, who knows where this company would have been at. And he mentions to CM Punk about, you know, you wasn't here, you know, for the duration of that, because you was gone 10 years ago. So I know I'm about to be all over the place when I say it, so I'm gonna remember from the best of my ability on how this segment went, because of course me talking about it don't do it justice. Y'all had to check it out for yourself. So Punk brings up to Roman and was saying that that I'm trying to remember real quick because it just escaped me because it happened so fast. But he mentioned about when Roman taking time off and all of that, because he said, this ain't ESPN, and he heard what he said at the Pat McAfee show, that the reason he take his vacation time is to pretty much give the spotlight to somebody else to see who will take it, who will be, relevant and all that. And he felt like nobody was taking that like that brass ring and really wanted to be that guy. So here's the reason why for him coming back. And he's saying that somebody, want us to be like Hill and all that. And he was saying that with your run, with the title and all that, I'm like, for one, you belittled your cousins or your family in this case. And, you thinking about you having a title, at the highest peak and all that. But all you did was held it hostage. And then mentions about, you should be thanking me in this case because when I brought y'all in and, mentioning the Shield and all that in 2013, he was saying that you wanted to follow in my footsteps. And he said, look where you are now. Like, you should be thanking me for doing so. To a point where Roman now counters that and says, following you, he said, I ain't want to be like you. He says, first off, mentioning that, he was saying that with following you, he said I wasn't trying to be like you. Like, for one, I learned from not to do, when it came to you. And then mentions about years ago, that 10 years ago you was sitting there talking shit on your best friend's podcast and all that about the company, which was facts. And how he made his life a living hell and all this other stuff, and was saying that he talking about him being a part-timer and all of that shit, and how he CM Punk, traveling around the world and all that, wanted to be here, to enjoy the fans and be that full-time person that everybody could see all a single time, and want to be there. And he felt like Roman choosing days that he don't want to go, typical part-timer shit. To Roman was saying that, for that 10 years and all that, this was what you was trying to do to make up for it. Whereas for me, I was putting the work in and all that. Even the times I choose, I was putting the work. Then, he mentions about, if I'm being honest, you wouldn't be here without me. Saying 2 years ago when he came back, he said, who you then got that approval to make that happen? Who did they went to make sure before making any decisions bringing you here? It was me. Bringing up Paul Heyman and was saying that, I try to play cool with him and all that so we could be on the same page and all of that stuff. And he was saying, I still haven't forgave you for, taking my Watchmen from me and all of that stuff. And, you thinking we cool and all this other stuff at war games and, how, we thinking, okay, shaking your hand out of respect and all. And we doing all the Z-Bros bullshit. And he mentions that because the movies they in with each other, and was saying that only for you to talk shit behind my back as we were walking, towards backstage and all that stuff, and proceeds to say that you doing all those things there, and thinking that I want to be you. Like, no, he said the reason why I'm choosing you. It's not because you are box office attractions and all that, and you that top guy right now and all that. The reason why I'm choosing you because I hate you. He said, I hate you so much. And at WrestleMania, it's going to make a whole lot better me beating you. And I promise to make sure that you acknowledge me, and walked off. And when I tell y'all, that was fucking cinema. Like, me talking about it don't do it justice. Y'all have to check it out for yourself. I was just completely shocked, and I'm like, all right, WrestleMania is starting to cook up right now. And this made the perfect sense, with them going at it, only because in this aspect, there are some personal attractions between the two, like a lot of like years you know, that they have to where, you know, you can build up on that, like, you know, between their segments and everything they were saying. Like, you saw that, you know, in that segment. So it was very interesting to see. And even though it's not confirmed yet, you know, because I'm pretty sure Drew McIntyre gonna have a response to that come Friday Night SmackDown. And, you know, he's gonna try to address, you know, Roman in the case of for him to choose him over CM Punk and all that. So, you know, Drew gonna get in his bag and probably say some shit that's gonna trigger Roman Reigns and all that to where he makes an appearance. So we ain't get confirmation yet, but best believe Roman is gonna be on SmackDown, and I think the interaction between him and Drew McIntyre is going to deliver. Make no mistake about it. But also you gotta remember, Cody Rhodes is still he got something to say about Drew after what happened at the Royal Rumble as well, and Drew being the cause of him being eliminated. So there's a lot that's gonna go down. But man, oh man, that segment was so fucking good. It was so good. And I know it's probably a little more things I left, but that was just a little taste of what, you know, that happened there. So if you can already, please go check it out. I'll advise y'all to do so right there, man. They really delivered, and it's definitely gonna ramp up for WrestleMania. You know, I'm here for it. I am here for it. So we'll see what goes down. But all in all, I definitely enjoyed SmackDown for what it was there. The crowd was very energetic. You know, had some good matches and all that too. And it was fantastic. So if I had to give it a rating, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10. The main event segment alone brought it that high. Let's keep it real. It brought it up that high. So comment down below. Let me know what you feel about Monday Night Raw. What was some, you know, best parts of the show that you liked? Did you enjoy that main event segment? Was, you know, Roman Reigns and CM Punk? And who do you think is he going to choose as his WrestleMania opponent? But I appreciate y'all love and support. Continue to keep God first. Just the process on anything that you do in life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.